Surprise! Bet you didn't guess that this would be on the channel, but here we go. Hey everyone, this is Sho, and thank you for checking out the video. So after a nice little Black Friday shopping spree, I managed to come across this little gem fairly cheap. Now, I'll get the three big questions out of the way from the start. Is this game good? Yes, it's an absolute classic. Will newcomers enjoy this? Of course, this is the definitive edition. Will returning fans of the series get their money's worth? Maybe. Keep watching to find out. So please be sure to subscribe if you enjoy the content, and let's take a look at everyone's favorite school death game visual novel, Danganronpa Anniversary Edition. Danganronpa Anniversary, otherwise known as Danganronpa Decadence in the West, is the definitive Danganronpa series pack. The first title in the series, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, was a PSP release back in 2010 that got released and updated for the PS Vita and PS4 a few years later. The original game generated 2 sequels, a spin-off sequel, a few anime adaptations, and short novels, though for Decadence, only the 3 core visual novels and an expanded Mario Party-like game are included. I honestly can't go much into the story because this is a murder mystery, and it drops you in the deep end from the start. In principle, however, the game starts by waking up in a location, suffering from some sort of amnesia, and then meeting a monocolored mechanical bear known as Monokuma, who explains that everyone is trapped in a death game, and the last one standing gets to leave. Past this, I can't really say anymore as it's potential spoiler territory. I will say for sure that this game has one of the most absolutely guado crazy stories, with all of the feels being hit. This story is great. It's Spike Chunsoft at its finest. You will enjoy this as long as you can stomach a rather violent murder mystery. On that note, this game, or these games, have an extremely unique artistic style. Visually, it's super vibrant with a very, very happy, colorful feeling despite its subject matter. Strangely enough, this juxtaposition gives the unique personality it's known for. The same can be said of the audio as well. You'll always be able to recognize a track from this game. If you're not sure, just search the main theme and I'm sure you've heard of some famous YouTubers use it in their videos. Performance-wise, I'd like to remind you that this cartridge has 4 games on it. The original 3 visual novels and the new Happy Danganronpa, which is like that Mario Party. To be honest, the game plays extremely nicely. However, it just seems to be scaling up the PS Vita release. Honestly, the difference of visual acuity is huge between the cutscenes and the main playable parts. I find this charming, but it's a little sad not to see more vibrant or updated models, or especially updates to the cinematics, which were honestly one of the greatest parts of the main series. With that said though, Happy Danganronpa seems to have been overhauled as it presents what I feel are the best visuals in the collection. So I'll cover the basics of the novels first, then I'll overview the Happy Danganronpa game. If this is your first time, play these in order. Start with the first game. The subsequent games do have spoilers. Therefore, for the purposes of this review, I'll be keeping all footage to the start of the first game to limit spoilers as much as humanly possible. So, the visual novels are divided into 3 stages per chapter: school life, killing life, and then the trial. School life is where much of the story takes place. In this mode, you'll be free to explore the area you're in, learning about other members of the game with you, working to discover the truth together. There is a social leveling mechanic at play, where you can spend time and give gifts to build bonds. By leveling up your bonds, you fill in a report card of the character, learning more about them, but you can also obtain skills that make the trial section easier to complete. Killing life then happens once one of your classmates or the members of your party dies. This is a point-and-click detective game, where you will examine crime scenes and gather clues. In general, you'll have all the time you need to complete this, so there really is no rush in taking your time to putting the pieces together. Now, it's also important to note now that Danganronpa is a one-way visual novel. There is only one path, and the main hurdle to finish the game is the trial. Now, the trial is, indeed, the main challenge of the game. The idea is that the group must determine who did it, and the perpetrator will be executed. Should the group fail in identifying the culprit, everyone but the killer dies, so there's clearly a lot at stake. Now, the way this plays out involves a series of minigames that must be completed. Completing these games quickly, accurately, and most importantly, correctly, adds to your score and restores life, whereas getting things wrong deducts life and eventually leads to a game over. Now, each game adds or removes from this core concept, so here are a few of the common games you'll need to complete. Non-stop debate. This is the core mechanic of the game and the reason why this game is called Danganronpa. Basically, you're given keywords as bullets and you need to target and shoot the correct keyword at a highlighted statement to prove the other person is lying. For this, you're given a crosshair and the opposing statements are on the screen, so you need to hit the right statement quickly and accurately. Hangman's Gambit. This is a fill in the blank with missing letters or characters. You need to spell out the correct word by hitting the required letters in order. Evidence selections. You'll be asked to periodically provide an item of evidence or to select a correct entry from a list of options. Climax. You'll fill in the pictures on a comic that depicts how the murder went down. Bullet time battle. You'll be bombarded by phrases that you need to target and shoot according to a specific rhythm that increases in speed over time. There are many other additional games added throughout the series, it's just that these are the ones that you'll be dealing with most often. Let's pivot over to Happy Danganronpa now. As I mentioned, this is basically a single-player Mario Party clone, mixed with an old-school JRPG. When starting a new playthrough, you'll select a character card, and the objective is to collect all key items and beat all bosses in 50 turns or so by rolling a dice. As you move around the board, you'll land on battle tiles, friend tiles, skill boosts, level ups, card draws, and shops. Battles play out like Famicom RPGs, so you have your party, and you select commands to attack or use skills. You will earn XP and money from winning fights to use at the shop for items and armor to make further battles easier. In addition to the dice roll, you can use cards that are obtained from the shop or card tiles. These provide a myriad of effects such as warping, movement, battle bonuses, and so on. These can also be sold in the shop for extra money. It's important to note that you can only have 5 cards at any time. Friend events, skill tiles, and level ups all impact your character stats and allow for battles to be easier. However, most importantly, it will impact your end of run results. You see, at the end of the run is when you finally get skills. Skills are gained through points that are gained from the aforementioned friend tiles. There are honestly a lot of different skills available, and each has levels that can be boosted. Furthermore, your current stats, skills, levels are all saved to the character card you selected at the start of your run. This impacts the Battle Tower minigame that has been introduced. However, it does not save these stats for subsequent Happy Dangan runs. Now, the Battle Tower is as it sounds. You'll have your party which will fight repetitive battles that get progressively harder. By winning, you'll get different Monokuma coins which allow you to access more character cards. To have the character card work in the tower, you must save at least one set of stats to the card, which can only be done after a Happy Dangan run. To be extremely brief, the character cards are obtained through a gacha system. To use this system, you'll need the different Monokuma coins for different machines, which provide different cards and items. Essentially, all characters from the series can be unlocked, and each character has a set of 4 cards that range from normal to ultra rare. As usual, the higher the rarity, the more power that can be gained. To note, while optional, there is a real money system that allows you to purchase Monokuma coins for more drops. So, take that as it is. In all, Happy Danganronpa is a more fun, lighthearted game that pulls away from the chaos that is the mainline series. There are a lot of tutorials and support for players going into it. With that said, it gets really grindy. So if you're a collector hunter or an achievement hunter, you'll be working on this for a long time. Now, it would be strange to talk about the difficulty of a visual novel, I suppose, but I'll break this down into 2 points. How much sense does the story make, and how challenging are the mechanics of the trials? By sense of the story, I mean to say, will you need to be opening up a textbook on criminal law to finish the game? No, of course not. But there are times when you do need to think a bit more deeply about what's really going on. And that is one of the best parts of this game. By going through, considering the words used and the personalities at stake, there are some really good whoa moments where it just clicks absolutely great. Additionally, the pacing and difficulty of the cases grows over time, so you'll always be well prepared to handle the next challenge. Now, the mechanics of the trials are, well, it's interesting. Perhaps you would imagine being in this situation. Court trial for a murder with your life on the line. Without proper training or understanding, what would you do? Actually, let me know in the comments about that idea. But I think you, like most others, would probably have a hard time processing such a high-stress situation. This is represented nicely in-game during the trials with the movement of words on the screen and the lag time between firing your logic bullet and hitting the target. However, from a gameplay perspective, it does provide a slightly annoying situation as we need to interface with joysticks and buttons to input these commands. This adds to the challenge in a frustrating way, as early on you'll find yourself missing or misfiring that results in less points. It's important to note that there are skills that can be unlocked to help adjust for this. Just early on it can be quite frustrating. Also, there is a difficulty mode of sorts with the trials. By playing on mean mode, the inclusion of white noise is added, which is an extra mechanic that you need to destroy lines that appear on the screen. To comment on Happy Danganronpa briefly, it's honestly really straightforward. Your power is directly connected with your level, stats, and items. So the main focus is to work on boosting your powers and coming up with a strategy to work around the potential poor dice rolls. Otherwise, the cards provide a lot of additional benefits that can help you equalize this instability. As this is a visual novel, naturally a guide is the ultimate cheese. There are hundreds of non-spoiler guides for the game, so go ham. But the main crux of this section will be based on how to complete the game fully. There are a few simple points to remember. I'll be keeping to the first game with these as it is rightfully the one you need to play first. Monokuma coins in the main games unlock the gallery items and presents to boost affinity. These can be farmed, but you will need a lot of coins, so do not waste them. There's a certain order to this madness. By using the gacha machine until you collect around 85 to 90% of the items, and then from there you can kind of manipulate or play with your saves to get the rest of the items you need. Skill-wise, there are 3/4 I highly suggest. Sakura's Tranquility. This helps steady the crosshair for the non-stop debates. Super useful in making the game easier to play. Always Ambidextrous. This gives multi-locking for bullet time battles. At first, it's not too helpful, but towards the end, oh my gosh, does it make the difference. Celeste's Raise. More Monokuma coins, less grinding. Yasuhiro's Crystal Prediction. This lowers the number of arguments you need to shift through in non-stop debate. Again, making things a bit more digestible. From here, I would just say have a lot of fun. In conclusion, I feel that Danganronpa Decadence is a great definitive edition of the game. You get all the main story available and a fairly addictive but repetitive solo party game. For newcomers entering the series or genre, I can't stress this game enough. It's 4 full games in one, with many hours of content and extra bonuses that are unlocked when you complete the main storylines. For veterans that have already cleared the series, the Happy Danganronpa expansion is welcome, but I'm still on the fence if this is really worth full price, especially if you have the originals already. Perhaps this is something to wait on for a sale. With that said, however, this is all condensed into one place, and having the portability back from the Vita is quite nice. Now, if you made it this far, thanks for checking out the video. I think the next actual Japanese release we will cover will likely be a brief video of the next Dynasty Warriors Empires. However, I'll likely also add Super Robot 30 as well as some other new video concepts that I'm playing with. So if this sounds nice, be sure to subscribe and hit the notify bell to know when they get released. Again, thank you so much for sending your love my way. I honestly appreciate it from all the subscribers who have been with me for a while or who are just coming on. Again, thank you. Also, let me know in the comments if you plan on getting Danganronpa or not. And if there's any other Japanese releases coming up, let me know. I can check them out, maybe get an early review on them. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if the going gets tough, let's switch strats. Cheers!